listening to Cool FM, live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews Primetime.
Good afternoon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is koolNews Primetime. I am Caro, and we are live on Cool FM and News Radio 93.1, where we share the latest news headlines that care for you. Alright, so let's get into the headlines. Topping our stories, Vice President Sara Duterte has been impeached by the House of Representatives after a total of 215 lawmakers have endorsed the fourth impeachment complaint, fast-tracking the processing and sending up the petition to the Senate for a trial. On Wednesday, the last session before Congress goes on the break for the election season, it was announced that over one-third of all House members have signed the impeachment complaint. Majority Leader Manuel Jose Dalipe moved that additional references of business for today he be read, during which House Secretary General Reginald Velasco announced that a fourth impeachment complaint was filed, which was endorsed by 215 lawmakers who swore before him. Dalipe then inquired how many of the lawmakers would be needed to fast-track the processing of the impeachment complaints, to which Velasco said that with 306 members of the House, a petition should have 102 signatures. With the signatures being more than enough, House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez approved the motion to send the impeachment complaints against Duterte to the Senate for a trial. The following lawmakers were designated as members of the prosecution team, which are Pandanga's Representative Gerville Lustro, Antipolo Representative Romero Alcop, One Right Parliamentary Representative Roque Gutierrez, Manila Representative Joe Chua, Alcopico Party List Representative Raul Angalo Bongalon, General Santos City Representative Loreto Acharon, 4Ps Party List Representative Marcelino Lipanan, Oriendo Mindoro Representative Arna Panangligan, San Juan City Representative Isabel Maria Zamora, Iloilo Representative Lawrence Defensor, and Bukidnon Representative Jonathan Ket Flores. The announcement comes hours after Velasco confirmed that a fourth impeachment complaint will be filed with 153 lawmakers signing the petition. Also in the news, the impeachment complaint filed against Vice President Sara Duterte reached the Senate on Wednesday. The document from the House of Representatives was received by Senate Secretary Reynaldo Pantoc at 5:49 p.m. Earlier, the House of Representatives confirmed that 250 lawmakers signed the fourth impeachment complaint against Duterte. 3 complaints were filed against Duterte in December. The complaints alleged that she had misused millions of pesos in confidential funds and tried to cover up how the money was spent when pressed to explain. Prior to the House's decision on impeachment, the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte is merely political persecution, her brother Davao City 1st District Representative Apollo Duterte said on Wednesday. In a statement, Representative Duterte said he was appalled and enraged by the desperate and politically motivated efforts to railroad the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. The sinister maneuvering of certain lawmakers, led by Representative Janete Garin, to hastily collect signatures and push for the immediate approval and transmittal of this baseless impeachment case is a clear act of political persecution, he claimed. This administration is treading on dangerous ground. If they were unfazed by the over 1 million rallying supporters of the Iglesia ni Cristo, then they are blindly marching toward an even greater storm, one that could shake the very foundation of the role, he added. Representative Duterte also warned President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s administration that it might be dangerous to believe that it could push through with the impeachment of his sister. The Filipino people will not sit idly by as this government undermines democracy and silence opposition through fabricated accusations. If the Marcos administration thinks it can push this impeachment without consequence, They are gravely mistaken, he said. This is not just about Vice President Sara Duterte. This is about the will of the Filipino people. The growing discontent and frustration across the country will not be contained for long. Mark my words, this reckless abuse of power will not end in their favor, he added. Duterte's statements came after House of Representatives Secretary General Regano Velasco confirmed that 153 lawmakers signified support for fourth impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Later on, a source told Inquirer.net that 206 lawmakers signed the complaint, including Marcos' son, Senior Deputy Majority Leader Ferdinand Alexander Marcos. And in the business side, inflation settled at 2.9% in January, unchanged from December after a negative price growth offset the increase in the cost of other food items and utilities, the Philippine Statistics Authority said on Tuesday. But the January reading was higher than the 2.8% median estimate in an Inquirer poll of 14 economics last week. Still, inflation settled within the 2.5 to 3.5% forecast range of the Bangko Sentral for last month. At a press conference, National Statistician Clare Dennis Mapa said higher prices of food items like tomatoes, pork, and galunggong contributed to the rice gains last month. Costlier rent, water bills, and LPG were also a source of upward price pressures. But rice, a major staple, posted a rice growth of negative 2.3%, cushioning the faster inflation in other commodities. And finally, drivers of four-wheel vehicles in Metro Manila may eventually have to pay a fee to use the perennially congested Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or EDSA. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla believes this will encourage vehicle owners to try public transportation. Remulla said the plan was tackled during the meeting on the Comprehensive Traffic Management Plan for Metro Manila and nearby provinces led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Tuesday. The Department of the Interior and local government chief stressed, however, that this situation would only be put in place once the CTMP for EDSA could be fully implemented. Remulla said in Filipino over radio DWPM when asked how the government can encourage car owners to use public transportation. We are thoroughly studying that. Perhaps there will be a metering system through AI. There will be a charge if the trains are all fixed and the entire system is fixed, he went on. There will be a metering system within Metro Manila to encourage the public to use public transportation. Asked if this meant that four-wheeled motorists would pay to use EDSA, similar to a system in other countries, Remulla said yes, so it becomes a privilege, not a right. The road will become anti-cars. He noted that 70% of the people use 80% of the roads in Metro Manila. But the first order of the day is that public transportation should be efficient, reliable, and comfortable. That will be prioritized, he said. This is koolNews Primetime. It is now 10:41 p.m. and we will return after the short break.
Long oras na, hangout na!
Makitawa,
Timbang ni Chito sa weigh-in laban ni Chito umabot sa 300 kilogram.
makichismis,
So, anong say mo? Tirik sa Mix Channel. Cheat. Next ga! Isipin kahit kailan.
at makigulo tuwing gabi kasama ang Hangout with Mamon. Hangout with Mamon. Lunes hanggang Miyerkules, 8 p.m.
Ito po ang Hangout with Mamon.
Dito lang sa nag-iisang himpilan, Cool FM. Cool FM.
Hello mga ka-efficasan! Si Kay Abaday ni. Naabang may mga sakit-sakit ang gipamati sa inyong mga kalawasan? Ihaplos ra na! Gamit ang Efficacent Oil Extra Strength. Kaysa Efficacent Oil Extra Strength, haplos, ayos! O sa pa inyong gihulat, palit na sa inyong mga suking tindahan o butika, ug haplos, ayos! Methyl salicylate plus camphor plus menthol is the generic name of Efficacent Oil Extra Strength. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Dapat tunayan na, sa panahon ng pinakamatinding pagsubok, dala ni James Roave ang pagbangon, pag-asa at pagbabago. Nang tinamaan tayo ng matitinding kalamidad, nagpatayo si Roave ng higit 200,000 bahay at nagbigay ng hanap buhay para sa mga nasakuna. Nang naging kalihim ng turismo si Roave, higit 5 milyong turista ang bumisita sa Pilipinas at nakalikha ng higit 10,000 trabaho at oportunidad para sa lahat. Leadership, results, integrity. James Roave, pagbabagong kailangan para sa ating bagong bayan.
Ang lakas mo, may ilalakas pa. Sa Revicon Forte, may muscle building amino acids, tulong para mas lumakas ang katawan with proper diet and exercise. Pag malakas ang katawan, lumalakas din ang loob. May lakas para sa ambisyon mo. Revicon Forte! Lakas!
Unilab yan.
Multivitamins, minerals, and amino acids is the generic name of Revicon Forte.
Extra strong? Andito na ang Leon Extra Strong Beer. Bangis ng dating, bangis ng sarap, bangis ng kagat, at 7% ABV. This is Gerald Anderson for Leon Extra Strong Beer. Tikman ang bangis ng Leon. Bangis ng presyo, 47 pesos SRP for 500 ml at 95 pesos SRP for 1 liter. Drink responsibly.
Kasama mo ang himlayang Pilipino, laging handa baunin ang alaala ng iyong mga mahal sa buhay. Ang himlayang Pilipino ay naghahatid ng mga affordable na libingan hanggang sa mas magagarang mga mausoleo para sa mga pribadong pagdidilay. Para sa mga karagdagang impormasyon, maaari kayong tumawag o mag-text sa 0968-896-4850. Pumunta sa himlayangpilipino.org o sa aming Facebook, Himlayang Pilipino Incorporated, at Instagram, HPI Memorial Park.
Himlayang Pilipino, Himlayang Pilipino.
Mapabata man o lolo, kahit simpleng alaga, nagiiwan ng marka sa'yo. Husay malasakit, iaalay sa alagang Unilab yan.
For 80 years, husay at malasakit ang nilalaan sa bawat gamot, sa bawat Pilipino para makapagbigay ng alagang makakatulong sa'yo na mag-iwan ng marka sa iba. Ito ang alagang Unilab para sa'yo.
Alagang Unilab yan. There's good and there's finger licking good. There's good and there's finger licking good. It's a taste that you crave, and you taste every day. Nothing comes close, unmatched. Nothing comes close, unmatched. Ito lang ang inaasahan, di nila mapapantayan. Nothing comes close, unmatched. Nothing comes close, unmatched.
Order KFC via the new KFC app today.
One Pacman, one Pacman, one Pacman, one Pacman, one Pacman.
One Pacman Party List. Champion sa sports. Number 22 sa balota.
22 tayo.
Tol, tol, tol. Tol, tol, tol. Tolentino ng bawat Pilipino. Tolentino.
Tolentino, Senador.
Bakit kahit quality, abot kaya pa rin ang mga gamot ng RightMed? Dahil gusto ng RightMed na gumaling kayo nang kayo'y nakakakilos, nakapagtatrabaho, o Ako Martin po at kasama ako ng RightMed na naghahangad na gumaling kayo. Sumaya, makibahagi ng gusto sa buhay. Para sa pamilya, para sa bayan.
Dahil gusto namin na gumaling kayo.
If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Protection
Yakult!
with 8 billion live LCS
Yakult!
that may reach the intestines alive.
Yakult!
Helps improve digestion and boost immunity.
Yakult!
With proper diet and exercise,
Yakult! Kaya panalo ka dyan! Madalas nangangasim ang tiyan? Maaring acid yan. Pag may acid, Suprasid. Tandaan ang United Home Suprasid.
Unilab yan.
Sodium bicarbonate is the generic name of United Home Suprasid. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Nature Soya Coffee. May genistein at digoxin na anti-cancer substance. Nature Soya Coffee. Tinutunaw ang mga mayoma, goiter, tumor at cysts. Nature Soya Coffee. Ang kape para sa inyong kalusugan.
Yo, it's the saint himself, Dwight Ramos.
Hey yo, Jeremiah, what are you having?
Alam mo na, yung primera klase.
Primera Light Brandy.
Primera Classic Night.
From Spain, award-winning premium blend.
Smooth. Now this is our Primera Classic Brandy. Primera Light Brandy. Dahil Primera Classica.
Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to koolNews Primetime. Let's continue with our headlines. Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino is hoping that the proposed Virology Institute of the Philippines would improve the government's ability to counter the spread of animal diseases, citing the outbreak of African swine fever, which inflicted heavy losses on the domestic swine industry last year. In his brief interjection in plenary on Senate Bill number 2893, which seeks to establish the VIP, Tolentino cited what he called the overlapping mandates of various agencies in response to the African swine fever emergency. He also noted how this hobbled the government's efforts to test candidate vaccines on a mass scale and deploy the proper vaccines against the highly virulent virus. To recall, it was Tolentino who filed Senate Resolution number 565, which prompted the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Food, and Agri Reform to investigate ASF's devastating impact on domestic pork production, supply, and prices. The reason why we had a long battle with ASF is because of the apparent non-movement of the personnel with the Food and Drug Administration in conducting clinical trials for ASF vaccines. And when they were finally able to reach a conclusion that clinical trials were to be conducted, they had to conduct the same en masse, said Tolentino. So would this setup of a new Virology agency prevent the crisscrossing of these mandates? He asked. In response, the sponsor, Senator Pia Catiano, explained that among the VIP's tasks under Senate Bill 2893 is to ensure seamless collaboration with RITM and other pertinent research bodies to delineate specific rules and responsibilities, ensuring that the research agenda is complementary rather than duplicative. Catiano noted that disagreements involving the different agencies would inevitably arise, notwithstanding the attempt to have seamless collaboration among them, with VIP as the lead convener. In conclusion, Tolentino expressed hope that the VIP, as envisioned in the bill, would be able to facilitate coordination not just among government bodies, but also with private laboratories. These include laboratories within universities and private institutions, including pharmaceutical companies. Okay, meanwhile, back to the impeachment. Different individuals and groups involved in the filing of impeachment raps against Vice President Sara Duterte lauded the House of Representatives' decision to move with the complaints, calling it an initial victory against corruption and misuse of public funds. Right, sorry about that. Gabriela, party list nominee and former Kabataan lawmaker Sala Elago said that while this signals a win for the fight against corruption, the transmittal of the impeachment complaint to the Senate opens up another chapter. Elago was one of the several individuals who trooped to the House to file the second impeachment complaint against Duterte last December 2024. The historic impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte by the House of Representatives is an initial victory for the Filipino people in the relentless fight against corruption and abuse of power. This move is the direct result of mounting public outrage over the misuse of confidential funds and the betrayal of public trust, Elago said in a statement. The transmission of the articles of impeachment to the Senate opens a new chapter in our pursuit of accountability. We call on our senators to fulfill their constitutional duty and conduct a fair, true, and transparent impeachment trial, she added. Bloco Alliance sa Makabayan Chairperson Eddie Casino, also one of the complainants, said that progressive groups recommend the House for fulfilling its duty to hold officials accountable, even if it came over 2 months after the first complaints were filed. We commend the members of the House for fulfilling their scared duty to hold the highest officials of the land accountable for their wrongdoings. While it might have been a buzzer beater, considering that the impeachments were filed back in December, the shift in temperament nailed the accountability of Vice President Duterte for misdeeds, Casino said. With the articles of impeachment now in the Senate, we urge the upper body to immediately constitute themselves into an impeachment court to try Duterte for her impeachable acts. Yeah. Former Senator Laila De Lima, who acts as a spokesperson for the first set of complaints, who also praised the House, while also clarifying that the complaints against Duterte are never personal but only born out of pursuit for accountability. De Lima said this impeachment is not a personal fight. This is not only about Vice President Sara, and this should not be considered as politics. This is a fight of Filipinos against abuse, corruption, and disregard of our institutions, desegregation, and lack of respect for our processes stated in our Constitution. The allegations against Vice President Duterte are clear: the quick expenditures of confidential funds without proper examination, the use of petition for personal interest, and the attempt to destroy processes that ensure accountability in government. It is clear that these are violations of the Constitution, and this is an obvious betrayal of public trust, she added. Lawyer Armando Ligudan, counsel for the third batch of complainants, meanwhile reminded people defending Duterte that surveys have shown that more Filipinos are in favor of removing the Vice President from office. Ligudan said, no, the purpose of her impeachment is to hold the Vice President accountable for her illegal disbursement of the millions of Filipinos of confidential funds, among other misdeeds, and contrary to their claim, per the latest survey, more Filipinos are in favor of impeachment than those opposed to it. Numbers don't lie. And now it's time for some international news. Myanmar's junta failed in its attempt to auction Aung San Suu lakeside mansion on Wednesday, with no bid submitted for the former democracy leader's home. The third time this sale has flopped. The two-story Yangon house, with about 0.8 hectares or 1.9 acres of land, was put up for sale with a minimum price of $140 million, following a decades-long dispute over the property between the noble literate and her brother. And salvage crews have recovered the bodies of all 67 people killed when a passenger plane and a U.S. Army helicopter collided near Washington and plunged into the Potomac River, officials said Tuesday. All but one of the bodies have been identified, said a statement from a variety of government agencies involved in the recovery effort after the deadliest U.S. air crash in 20 years. The statement called the completion of the search for remains a significant step toward bringing closure to the families of the people who died in the accident last week. The statement said, "Our hearts are with the victims' families as they navigate this tragic loss. We extend our deepest condolences and remain committed to supporting them through this difficult time." Crews continue working to recover the wreckage of the passenger plane, a Bombardier CRJ-700 operated by American Eagle Airlines from the frigate waters of the Potomac. So far, crews have retrieved pieces including the right wing, a center section of the fuselage, for part of the left wing, the tail cone and rudder, the National Transportation Safety Board said. Work to recover the chopper will begin when the plane work is done, the city agency said. And finally, into the entertainment, Maymay and Pranta has reintroduced herself as she decided to seriously pursue music, announcing the upcoming release of a project she has been working on for over a year. The actress-performer looked back on her showbiz career through her Instagram page on Tuesday, February 4, admitting she felt she's still lagging despite delving into acting, hosting, and modeling. She said, "Habang humilipas ang panahon, marami po akong na-experience, marami rin akong goals na nakamit, pero parang feelings ko noon may kulan pa rin. I have done music po before, but it all changed when I released Ama Kapogera. I was empowered, I felt strong," she stated, regarding it what ignited her passion in music. "I felt happy every time I learned something about music. That was the moment I decided to pursue it seriously." And Prada underscored her gratitude to those who have believed in her potential in music, crediting them as the reason why she eventually believed in herself as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 1 minute before 11 p.m. and that brings us to the end of Cool News Primetime for tonight. We will return with more news headlines tomorrow with Cool News at noon, along with Cool News at 6 and Cool News Primetime at 10:30 p.m. You can also send us your comments, suggestions, and feedback through our email at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. Until then, I am Caro. This has been Cool News Primetime. Coming up next on Cool FM is Totoy na Lama. Good night.